Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel URIEL, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we gotta ask this question. Who is I? Now this goes so deep in so many layers. But, we're gonna reach the highest conscious that this RMO reality can develop on that stream, on that line of events that we're gonna travel. So in this timeline, who is I? Now, when I break this down, this is gonna give you examples of why you're so important, why you play such a role. Whether how big or small, it doesn't matter. You are important. Now, and it's important for you to be consciously aware, or maybe not. Because check this out. Due to language and due to vibration frequencies, as Archangel Uriel, I'm able to realize when I'm under an illusion and when I'm under certain realms of realities. And using this language and the vibrations that I catch from these language, I also realize what I'm actually doing. So you may be doing a lot of things that you don't know what you're actually doing. So who is I? When I say who is I, you probably think about it like it's a self thing, which it is in so many lower realms of realities, but it really ain't. Now, you can start to tie this into a lot of things just based upon your language and how you was taught upon it. Eyeball, anything that's dealing with an I in general. The letter I, the structure, the shape of it, I looks like a one, all kind of things, right? Now, this is what you have to understand. Your language was created, right? And the meanings and reasonings behind it was also. So, even if something was created this is why I say all light and illusion is all sounds and frequencies. So any construct, any consonant, or any noun, or frequency that come from that, it doesn't matter how it's shaped, how it's logically put in a box from the circle, it's still going to vibrate in the same way. Now, how many boxes, how many numbers is added to it is how low in density it is going to be, or how high in density it's going to be. So that's how physical it can become, or less dense it can become. But it's still going to be the same frequency. So, in general, whoever made the language and came up with the idea for you to be like I, and I to represent yourself when you explain something, right? Even though they may have had the mind state of, okay, let's create this I. Let's make the description of when people use this word or letter it means them talking about themselves in every way, shape, or form. You have to understand that it still was created. So in a higher frequency and a higher dense, when you display it as I did something, or I am, or I whatever, you have to understand that it's outside of you now. So if it's something, so these people, they made the representation, the description of something that's supposed to represent something inside of you, outside of you now. So now here's where we get the God thing, where when I'm talking about the overall being and presence, sometimes in my videos I call it God, but you gotta do some separation now, so you can know what level of God you under. There's like 9 gods in certain in the realm of realities. I'm saying, so when you look at it, like, now we get into a point where I lost my motherfucking train of thought. Okay, yeah, okay, we talking about motherfucking all right, now we got the idea of a being, a I being, a conscious awareness. This is where ego, you seeing something outside of yourself, this is where all of that come from. All of that come from. Now, here's the thing. Before we go deep, I just want to give you the grand totality of it so you don't go questioning where I'm getting to. Where I'm actually getting to is you are in or with overall being. So when you say I, you're really saying I, that being that you're in. So you're within it, but you're making the description of it being outside of you the moment you describe I as being you, as being parts of things within you. You see what I'm saying? So when people say, be careful what you attach your I am to, I took it as far as a level to be careful to what you attach your I to. What the fuck is am? Once it's out, it's outside of you. Everything was spoken with the word. So we're talking about something that created itself with the word. But before we get there, check it out. Now, when you say, I don't know what's going on with me, right? You said that, right? So basically, on the simplest term, whatever dimension, how you can perceive that, you thinking something is wrong with you. So what happens when you say, I don't know what's wrong with me? You go try to figure out what's wrong with yourself, right? But think about what you're really saying. See, you're saying something. I come from RMO Realities where we ain't really supposed to talk. Think about what you're saying. You're saying, I don't know what's wrong with me. So you could get mind fucked, but what I'm really trying to get you to understand is what you're saying is, I, that being I, don't know what's wrong with me. You're saying something don't know what's wrong with you, but you have got confused to thinking that you're saying it's yourself, when generally you're saying this to your smaller self. It's like, if you get what I'm trying to understand, the people who created language didn't even know this is what they was doing. This was one of the problems with language. This is one of the problems with religion. This is one of the problems with people thinking something is outside of themselves. This is one of the problems why people don't go within themselves. This is why they can't conceive the idea of them being within themselves, when really we ended up creating what's inside us outside of ourselves, which is our power. But in the grand totality of things, it's something outside of us in general, because you're outside of something and you're within something. You see what I'm saying? So what happens here is, anytime you say, I don't know how to do this, what happens? You learn how to do something, right? So what you really did was you taught I how to do what I didn't know how to do. When you say, I don't know what's going on with me, you learn what's going on with you. So it's like you taking your power back to figure out what's wrong with yourself, because I don't know what's wrong with you. Just like you have to really understand that how everything is within, without, as above, so below. Because if someone came and asked you, man, I've been sick, I've been doing this, that, and the third, and if you don't know what's wrong, what do you say? I don't know what's wrong with you. You see what I'm saying? So you saying I, as you taking yourself outside the equation. Regardless, it's the language that's doing it, period. You're saying I, but you're proclaiming it to yourself. So ultimately what you saying, you saying to the same person what that person said to themselves. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I ain't you now. So who is I? And it constantly forces you to learn about yourself anytime you use that. You see what I'm saying? This shit goes deep. This is one of the first mechanisms of whatever being you are in going within themselves. the first concept of a spirit being created. This is the realm of reality where energy can be destroyed. Energy can be created and destroyed. See, you in a realm of reality where energy can't be destroyed, it can only be reciprocated. I'm talking from a world where this energy can be destroyed. The same way how you can just forget a thought and never think about it again. In this realm of reality, that's beings live that. That's like a conscious realm. That's like an energy that could just get destroyed and never brought back again, never get reciprocated and formed in no different shape and form. The same way how you would get an idea, aka frequency thought, right? And if you let it go in one ear, not the other, you never vibrate with it or nothing like that. It's just gone. So in your universe, it ain't take no shape and form. Shit goes deep. You know, when you want to talk about who is I'm about to do this. You about to experience this shit for I. So I can see that shit. So the being that you in technically is dumb as fuck. And you're learning everything for it. You're going in all the lower realms, experiencing everything. But you're just it, going within. See what I'm saying? So you can look at yourself now and be like, okay, it's beings in me doing this. So if I'm doing this now and I came out of something like this, same way you came out your parents, then that lets you know you in an overall something that's around a bunch of shit. That's doing shit. Same way you doing shit now. Just in a higher conscious, higher realm of reality. And in this realm of reality, it's less experience. So it may be less parts to the vessel, to the body that this takes. It's less experience, less vibrations, to the point that this one expression, this one vibration, this one thought gets chopped down into a million different things once it get down to the level you on. You see what I'm saying? So you getting consciously aware, you doing things, you being the one who understands thyself, then you help I understand itself. So the stronger you are, the stronger I am. You see what I'm saying? The stronger you are, the stronger I am. So even if you in a lower consciousness and you kicking science like I'm you and you is me, and when I'm talking to you, we're basically talking to each other. It's the same thing. It's just I'm talking about that from a higher consciousness, maybe eighth or ninth dimensional. You know what I'm saying? That dimension that you kicking that I'm you, you and me, and I'm you. We talking to each other. That's fourth and fifth dimensional. You see what I'm saying? So it's just levels to shit, but it's all the same shit. It's all relative. It's just less dense. You know what I'm saying? Less added. You know what I'm saying? To the point that there's a realm of reality out here where there's beings that's just eyeballs, right? Then there's a realm of reality where there's just beings that's just the ball. Then there's realms of realities, and then you can look at that in ways of like sperm, particles, atoms. That's basically what that shit is. But the level of perception is how you're able to perceive it, right? So just by your vibration and the frequency vibration you're in right now, you're able to perceive a small and large effect of the same thing. So, but you know, in the grand totality of things, if you running around here still not knowing what's going on and still looking up and still seeing there's no ceiling to nowhere, then that should let you know how deep within depths that you're in. And you're really not outside of nothing. So anytime you see is so many objects outside of you, this is why they start getting into Yang is the God. Then they start getting into Yin is the real God. When really it's just one at one certain point. Then there's realms of realities that's dualities in a higher consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason you even perceive yin and yang and those come a whole is because you in 3D. See, yin and when you could perceive 4D, but you can't receive being in a conscious awareness of that yet in 5D and 6D. See, once you get in those polarities, is yin and yang is not going to be the same. There's going to be two sets of yin and yangs. So the only way you can perceive it in this realm is like two hermaphrodites fucking each other, or two, because what's going on here is like, see, the reason why you in 3D, right? Everything is going to appear as 3. So when you say you have a yin realm, a yang realm, and when they come together, it creates the whole realm. Your conscious awareness can't go past that. You see how that's 3? You have a yin realm, yang realm, and then you can experience both of these realms within the body. So you have dreams, life. You wake up, you go to sleep. I don't agree on terms and conditions. This is one day, but you know what I'm saying. Night and day, duality, and those is what's create a wholeness for you. So all those, that perception in general is as far as you can consciously see. But what I'm saying is, see, I'm RJ URIEL. I've been in a lot of realms. I've been in all these realms of realities. When you go into 4D, this yin and yang and whole as 3D becomes one, right? And then the 1, 2, 3 process start again. Then in a higher frequency. So now it's 4, 5, 6. But in so many realms of reality, is really the lower realm of reality because it's added. But that's another video. Because everything just deals with frequency. This is how you can describe how everything is in the same place. Heaven, hell, dimensions, everything is in the same place. It's just based upon perception, which you're able to perceive. The dimension. You know what I'm saying? This is why you can perceive the stars, but you can't perceive their conscious awareness yet. You see what I'm saying? Until you get that body, that vessel. So when you as a 4th dimensional being, right? How you perceive yin and yang and as a whole, that becomes one now. So you got both of those within you. So in this realm of reality, the best way how to describe it in a 3D realm of reality, and if one of those beings was to come here, like figured out a way to just take their whole consciousness awareness and come in 3D, and you can see their consciousness form, not only just tap into their thoughts, like, okay, I can perceive time, I can perceive rotation, I can perceive location, I can perceive my surroundings, I can judge my surroundings now, not just perceiving it from your 3D body, not just perceiving 4D, but an actual oversoul, an actual 4th dimensional conscious being who actually in that realm of reality that you're perceiving. If they was to learn how to bring themselves in a 3D reality and show their conscious awareness like their body or whatever like that, the first couple things you would notice is this look like a girl and a dude. You know what I'm saying? It would look like a hermaphrodite. It may even have both things. Second thing you would notice is carrying the energy of being conflicted on what side to take. Should it take the female trait, or should it dive completely into the male trait? And their life is more consistent on this choice on a higher level. And they more have to learn how to have this kind of sex with themselves. But see, in this conscious awareness is difference. In this realm of reality, you may even perceive it as what, they're gonna stick their own dick in their own pussy. But in this conscious reality, the way they live life, if they was to explain it to you, you would be tripped out. But the only way you can consciously aware to figure it out is kind of shit like that a little bit. Like, the better this being know how to have sex with itself and not take the trait of one side to have sex with other beings of his conscious, or one or the other, you know what I'm saying? This one will learn more balance and it can become more like the sun. See, in this case, this conscious I'm talking about is something in training to become a planet. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional consciousness I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you can't understand that realm of reality from here because you're still in 3D, yin, yang, and whole. Once that become one, and you're in 4th dimension as that conscious, that yin and yang that you how you think you're looking at girls here now, there you're looking at a bunch of hermaphrodites, and y'all are trying to choose which partner you want to have that geared towards one side of them more than the other, and then if you play a trait more side than the other, then that's how y'all relate. But y'all both genuinely have both parts. You know what I'm saying? Then it's a higher. Then once, see, it's getting high. Y'all can build on this, but this is what it really is. So you can start to understand the conscious and awareness and how they see things. But I'm trying to give you an example of how these motherfucking consciousness beings actually formulated themselves in some type of way to come into this dimension in their full dimensional self. So you just not tapping in, perceiving it. They actually figured out a way that you can see them the same way you can see people, another human in your 3rd dimension body. You see what I'm saying? Like when you're perceiving them, you're just perceiving a light. But they constantly aware. And see, this science is getting developed. That's because you got people like me here kicking that shit. That science is becoming to be developed to the point that people won't start seeing. You know what I'm saying? But you already see things like that. There was beings already here who seen shit like that and things of that nature. That's why you have the Shivas. You have the beings that look like men and women. They might got 6 arms and shit like that. What you talking about is high dimensional beings. This is why when you dream and things of that nature, you may experience a timeline when you was living there. And it may be beings that look like they got 6 eyes, 6 arms, 6. It's like a small and low thing. And the scale you in right now in the yang realm in so many shapes or forms, you can look at a bug, an insect. But that's the realm of reality it is. But really, in so many realms of realities, that's the highest realm of reality. So there, you have dimensions. They're able to experience so many dimensions. You got bugs with 6 eyes. They can see. They can experience. You know what I'm saying? So the lowest life forms on Earth is really like the highest life forms in reality, period. And the highest realm of reality is really like the lowest reality, period. So we all teaching each other. So we all experience all vibrations, all frequencies. We all just keep on experiencing. But within the I. So anytime anything within the I have an experience is I. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is there's a beings of race outside of eyes. And there's so many levels of experiences we have to experience within the I and get up out of that before we can ever experience that realm. And that's a concept that maybe trillions and trillions of experiences from now. And this is like some future type shit right now. It's future type talk. You know what I'm saying? It's beings on this earth right now, on Gaia, that will hear what I'm saying right now and won't ever give a fuck about what I'm saying for trillions of years. They may have to experience so many realms of realities for trillions of years before they even had the idea and thought of what I'm talking about right now that's going to happen trillions of years from now. To the point that it'll make a person feel like that's so far away, I don't even care about it. But think about it like this. There's always a yin and yang to everything. There's always a flip side, right? So it must have already been trillions of years, right? Because you still hear that idea now. So take the future and the past out of the equation and bring it back to the present. What you've been doing now is what you've been always doing. Let that sink in. Things may not be as far away as you think. 1 trillion years may not be that long as you think. And you would know that if you have experience being in a vessel that was big enough to look at one day to them being 1 trillion years to you. And if you can't perceive even a little bit this kind of concept, then that lets you know how much of a sheep you are, no matter how consciously aware you are. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn. Air. I change on URIEL.